Welcome back to Irish Acres Homestead. I am very distracted this morning. Our goats keep following us up here. The girls love following me up here because they like to play on these rocks.
No, they do.
Oh. I tried to ditch them this morning and it didn't work.
No.
And I'm trying to get them to go back down to our land. And it's proving to be a struggle. And right now I don't have anywhere for the bucks to go. So the bucks are in the fence, which means the does have to be out of the fence because our buck area is under construction. The perils of homesteading, you guys. Speaking of, let's talk about that for a second. So I was doing a Q&A on Instagram. So this particular woman asked the question. She said she's older. She's 38. She has young children. She wants to get started homesteading, but feels like she's too old to get started and that it is impossible because she doesn't know anything. That question got me thinking about the trend of homesteading. And yes, it's a trend. And I will say if it's a trend, it is a trend that I will happily jump on and get behind, because the trend of growing your own food, raising your own animals, having control of your food sources, that's a trend I can really get behind. There are parts of homesteading, though, that are kind of trendy. If you follow those trends instead of following what's right for your land and your particular situation, you could potentially be setting yourself up for failure. So there's a young kid running around making noise right now. I'm older, I'm 45. Joe's 42. We have 3 young kids. We have 3 older adult children too. So life is full. We have a lot going on. We have a grandbaby now. Is homesteading easy with all of those moving pieces in our life? No, heck no, it is not easy. Homesteading has gotten a bit romanticized, which is why I try to show like the ugly parts, right? It's not always pretty. Not everybody has a chandelier in their coop. Not everybody has land with, acres of green pasture for their cow to rotationally graze through. And so I think that's the piece where it becomes a bit trendy. So there are some awesome techniques in homesteading that certain pioneers of homesteading have put in place, and they work. They work really well for a specific style of land. You can't always do that. That kind of land is not always available. It's not always in your budget. It's not always realistic. So homesteading takes grit and determination and ingenuity and creativity. Like you really have to look at your land and what's going to work best. So, when we first were getting started, of course, I immediately went to the family milk cow. I would love to have a milk cow because the land we found that was in our budget, that was south facing, that had a view, that had a year-round creek, and all the things that we were looking for in land, with the exception of flat pasture space, the land we ended up with is not conducive to have a cow. So we started looking at goats. It turns out that for us, the goats work perfectly. They browse the forest. They're hardy. They're easy to maintain. Their inputs are low. We can cut trees and feed them trees if we have to, if we don't have hay. They're a great animal for our particular style of homesteading, but they're not trendy. They're not the it thing. They're not the cool thing right now. And that's totally fine. Everybody's going to cow, cow, cow. That's great if you have the right land for it. If you have the inputs, if you can grass feed your cow and you're not going to spend $1 million on hay, awesome. But if that's not the land you have, start thinking outside the box. Sheep, goats, even camels apparently have amazing milk. But there are animals that will work for your land. One of my dearest friends, she started out with cows and then quickly realized that for their land in Arizona and for their family needs, a cow didn't work. So she switched to goats, which is pretty uncommon. Usually it's the other way around. People have goats, they want a higher quantity, or they want to be able to more easily get the cream out to make butter, so they switch to a cow. But I love her story of really looking at what was going to work for their land and their family and choosing wisely. She's the one who's teaching me how to make all of my goat cheeses. And speaking of goats, hello friend. What are you doing? This is my girl who's like a doggy. This is Misty. Hi. One of my best producing does right here. She's my good girl, aren't you? Yes, you're my good girl. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that because I get a lot of questions about homesteading, getting started, how to get started, what to get started with, and I think it's really individual. As for the age piece, this woman was asking the question about age. I don't ever want to be limited by something that I dream of doing because of my age. I don't think age has anything to do with whether or not you can homestead. Is it going to be a little harder if you're older? Maybe, but maybe not. Can you move well? Is your body fit? Do you feel energetic every day? Go for it. I don't think that age is a factor, and I personally don't ever want to be limited by my age because life is just too short. And there's so many things that I want to learn and that I want to do. If I said I was too old to try, gosh, it just wouldn't be very much fun. What do you need? What can I help you with? Do you need something? If you're not following us on Instagram, please do that. Irish Acres Homestead. I post a lot there. And if you're not following Homestead Mamas on Instagram, do that too. Homestead Mamas. There's going to be something really fun happening next fall. So if you want to come and meet me and a lot of other amazing homesteading women in person, just stay tuned and keep your eyes and ears open on both those accounts over the next year. We're going to have some fun things happening. The other thing I wanted to share with you, if you've been following us for a little while, you know that this last March, oh boy, what are you doing, girl? We did a photo shoot for Duluth Trading Company for their fall and winter campaign, and those photos have dropped. So, while I go help him, I'm coming, son, while I go help him and get these goats out of here, I'm going to share a few of those photos with you. They're really beautiful, and we were so honored to get to work with Duluth Trading Company. So here are those, and then after the photos, we will head on down and take a peek at construction on the house and see how that's going. That photo shoot was really fun. You'll be seeing more of those images on Duluth Trading Company's social media, website, catalog, etc. as the months go on. So let's go take a peek at what's going on up at the house this week.
Careful, baby.
Look.
I don't want you near the rebar. Okay.
It's Joe. He has like 10 minutes before his next work meeting. So, all right, baby, can you just kind of like a quick rundown of what has happened this week and what is happening in the next step?
Josh and Josiah are putting together the smaller building. So this is essentially a foundation for where the house is above. So we're gonna try and get these walls poured, the slab on that poured, and get this middle area braced and prepped for this pour in the next month. I hope you guys all heard that. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just, they're working on that building first. We're gonna get that dried in, and then we're gonna do the slab here.
Saren, that doesn't look very safe for you up there.
Yeah, I don't want them in those rebars.
Goats, it's not very safe for you either.
Remember I told you these things? We don't go near those.
Not a lot to talk about. I mean, we could specifically go through and do a rundown of exactly what's happening,
We can do that when the guys aren't here.
but
some more.
I mean, in general, you know, this is what. It's the general overview of what's happening. We're just not in the business right now of like doing ICF tutorials or anything like that. So, you know, you're just going to get the general vlog idea of this construction project. Maybe in the future we'll do some more. And goats are up on top of the basement where they should not be.
No. It's not fair.
What's not there?
Hey, you have my phone.
Be careful with her, okay?
Hey.
Gentle. Gentle.
I'm making her like that. I make her.
Oh, she doesn't like that.
She does like that.
No, I don't think she does like that. Give her to Mama. It's Saturday morning. We're done with chores. I edited that vlog last night and realized I didn't close it out. So I'm just going to close it out real quick. I hope that if you're homesteading, your journey is a blessed one, full of learning and opportunities to be creative with your own land and your own animals. Have a blessed day. We'll see you next week. Peace out, friends.